This is a fine mess we've got ourselves into. Not necessarily, I'm not commenting on the package itself, but the political problems that are coming along with this. We were talking about all of the money that we're spending on this economic stimulus package, as well as the financial stimulus package, what most people call the financial bailout. You know, how did this whole thing happen when it seems on the talk shows and the like, and just about anybody you talk to, they agree that this is way too much money. On the other hand, a lot of economists are advising Congress and the administration, even Republicans, that we need to put money into the economy. Some are saying, in fact, a lot are saying, we should put even more money into the economy to get this thing going. I'm wondering where the political disconnect is here. Are people not listening to the voters? Do the voters don't know what's going on? Why this disconnect? Does anybody have a handle on that?
I think so. I think there's a basic difference in philosophy. You know, I think conservatives, fiscal conservatives, and there have been fiscal conservatives in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party over time, although now it seems like the Democrats don't have any fiscal conservatives left. Maybe there were a few in the House who voted against this package, but basically fiscal conservatives believe that taxes should be low, government spending should be restrained, government should be limited in its scope, and really the wealth and all the production in society comes from individuals, private businesses, private entrepreneurs, people making things, you know, farmers, people making things happen themselves. That the government cannot create wealth, the government does not make good economic decisions.
That's not what I'm talking about. We were talking about trying to get enough votes to pass this economic stimulus package. But in the House, that's not a problem.
Right, because the Democrats control.
In the Senate, it wasn't too much of a problem. They had 3 senators who voted for it. One of them, Arlen Specter of Pennsylvania. You can talk about that a little bit later on. You're upset with him about that.
Right.
But I mean, does it take all of these extra hundreds of billions of dollars to get 3 votes in the Senate?
No, this is a disaster. We shouldn't have. The reason we are in this problem is because the mortgage system, the mortgage credit system got out of control. And, you know, tens of millions of Americans took loans they couldn't afford to repay.
Okay,
and we had
private enterprise.
No, it wasn't private enterprise.
Sure was.
No, this was the Community Reinvestment Act. Oh, no.
They were selling mortgage products they knew people couldn't afford.
But no.
They were selling them for a profit, and they knew it was going to collapse.
PJ, I'm sorry. This is Chris Dodd and Barney Frank. Heck no, this was the government mandated. You are wrong, PJ.
Businessmen were totally wrong. They were selling mortgage products for investment purposes. They knew people couldn't pay those mortgages.
The government pointed a gun. The government pointed a gun at banks. The government pointed a gun at banks with the Community Reinvestment Act and said, you will make loans, you will make loans, subprime loans that people can't afford. That's exactly what happened, PJ. And Barney Frank, Chris Dodd, the Democrats in Congress, President Obama, their fingers all over this crisis.
And it's a government that forces credit card companies to send all those credit card applications out there to people that don't have good credit. Kids going to college get all these credit cards. You know, that's a law forcing that? No.
Hey, I didn't go. Listen. Look, there's plenty of blame to go around. A lot of people took out debt that they couldn't afford. A lot of people did. But the government encouraged this mortgage system with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac was messed up by the government. And then, yes, Wall Street, a lot of people took advantage and pushed debt out there. But there was a debt binge. We got way out of control. That's what happened. And now the solution is to take on more debt. It's ridiculous. This fiscal stimulus is a disaster.
What got out of control was the greed on Wall Street and the fact that government didn't regulate, didn't control it, and when it tried to, it did maybe so very weakly and ineffectively.
So there's no greed among the Democrats in Congress who can't pay their taxes?
I'm not talking
on Wall Street.
I'm talking about the core source of the problem. It was a failure of the financial markets. Okay, they broke down. They came up with financial mechanisms that heretofore had never existed.
And that
they bundled them. They bundled them and they sold them.
Right, and who bundled them? They bundled them so that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, these government-controlled entities, could buy them and then repackage them and sell them. The root of the problem was with Congress and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Oh, it's all.
You're talking about a small fraction.
Yeah. Oh no! They cover over halfway. Fannie Mae.
Okay, here's an opportunity to make some money. We're going to loan money to people who can't pay it back. But before they can't pay it back, we're going to bundle these together in investment products that we can sell for a lot of money.
Right.
And then the bubble broke.
That didn't exist before Bill Clinton signed the Community Reinvestment Act. That did not exist before Congress made it. No, sir.
Is a small. We're talking about poor people who can't and subprime mortgages have absolutely nothing to do with that, and that's mostly what created the bubble. We want to take a short break, I think. We have to take a break, and we'll be right back to continue the fight.
Yes, absolutely.
Stand by.